The St. Louis Board of Aldermen passed several proposals to honor important parts of our history. Chestnut Street between 13th and 14th will now have a new honorary name, the Tuskegee Airmen Way. The street is located in front of Soldiers Memorial downtown. The famous group of black fighter pilots overcame segregation to play a key role in World War II. About 50 members of the Tuskegee Airmen were from St. Louis. The board also passed a bill that gives an honorary title to 11th Street near Market. It will now be known as Freedom Way. The Civil Courts building off Tucker was also renamed in honor of former Judge Clyde Cahill Jr.